connecting. These are the things that are really very important and are really going to take us through. Thank you very much, Bala, for this time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Funsho. So Funsho, maybe we'll go straight into the question and answer session right away. Before if you have a question, we will take them in a few minutes. But let's start with the questions that have been put here on the chat. So the first question is from Bisola Olabi. Thank you for your question. And maybe Funsho, you can take this question. It says, what professional courses and skills can you recommend for chemical engineering students that intend working in oil and gas?
Really, oil and gas. Okay, thank you, Ba. So there are a couple of courses, and to be honest, the courses are pretty expensive. That's the plain truth. The courses are really expensive. The courses abroad and all of this. There are courses even here in Nigeria, but they are all pretty much expensive. But what I would advise is this, and this is them taking the advice that I picked up. When I first started working, I found something called the API standard. It was a turning point for me because I asked the question. I said, so if an engineer, if I design a pipe, because I was looking at an API 14E, if I design a pipe based on the things stipulated in this standard, is it going to be the same as any engineer in the US, in the UK that has used the same standard? And the man said yes. So that puts you on a playing ground with anybody in the world. So what I would say is this: get yourself in touch with videos. There's a particular YouTube channel that I usually go. It's called the Chemical Engineer. I think I had it opened up somewhere. Now it's even something. It's called Chemical Engineering World. It's something that I think that we should, even as students, we should get on top of this. YouTube is your friend. Google is your friend. There are lots of courses on Udemy relating to process engineering. I'm mentioning this because they are not the pretty expensive type of courses, that you can go for. But you can take all of this and then you can start up on your own and then watch videos and watch a lot of lectures, online. I have a couple of books that I started reading. They are really pretty much easy to read and really not entirely your type of textbook type of activity or book. I could share that with you online, and then you could have an idea of what the oil and gas space is. Now, when you know what the oil and gas space is, you can now find out where you would fit in as an oil and gas engineer. You could be a process engineer doing design. You could be an instrumentation engineer if you want to go into controls. You could be a safety engineer if you want to do process safety. But by the time you understand, what the oil and gas whole industry is, then it's always easy for you to have that in place. But the summary of it all is this: Google is your friend, YouTube is your friend. I could always get you sites that you could go to be able to learn all of these things. Once you have that understanding, then you can now start going deep into a particular discipline to be able to do this.
Right, thanks. Maybe anyone wants to add anything to that, Laulu?
Let me add to that. I think for now, like Funsho said, there are professional certifications that are really expensive, but what I will encourage you to do is be aware of them. Like Funsho is saying, be aware of them, aware of what they can do, so that when somebody asks you, have you heard of API 14? Have you heard of this process? How do you develop a data exchange? You can copiously talk about it. And then they said, okay, you are my guy. I will send you for the course, because I don't want to send a guy for a course that I have no clue about what is happening. So all those things that Funsho is talking about, as it provides you those information, be aware of it, read about it, be able to talk about it even while you're sleeping, so that when the opportunity comes, you will be the guy that they want to send and pay money to go and take those courses and work for them and bring those values to the company.
Okay, thank you very much. Good. So we'll take the second question here. I think maybe Laulu, you can help with that since you are one of those with the highest degrees. So here it says, does a research-based degree always result in career in the academia? This is from Toluwani Adedoyin.
Well, you have two PhD from the same set right here. We have Dr. Agbede, who is now working in LAUTECH, and you have me, which is working in the industry. Clearly 50-50, we can go both ways. So there are, but I have to caution here. By the time you go into more of research, the expectation is you'll be doing technology development. And not all companies have the facility. So yes, as you start advancing your degree into more research, you need to work either as a faculty to keep progressing that skill set, or you work in a company that has a technology development arm or a research arm that you can work with. What we don't see a lot, and I believe they have it there in Nigeria too, is that all these companies, they have a research component, Nigerian breweries, because they have to have a competitive advantage. If you are doing everything anybody can copy, what's your competitive advantage? So sometimes some companies, most companies, even Nestle, all those people, they have a research group that help them to develop new products into the market. And they keep it in-house because it's proprietary. So if you are developing research, also have a eye on those opportunities in those companies, how you can use what you have learned to be able to help them in their product development, technology development, and your research can come to bear in the industry. And of course, if you want to be in academia also, you can also do that. So yes, it can go both ways, but there are opportunities in the industry for research-based folks.
Hey, thank you very much. Yeah. The next question, I think we'll go to Tokwe. So he says, sir, this is from Mayowa Lauye, and he says, what are you doing and putting together after a while, after you are done with NYS and waiting for a job? I think maybe the import of the question is what were you doing in that period?
Yeah. So I mean, I was not just waking up and sleeping, right? So I continued to apply. I continued to apply for jobs. I mean, I had a number of interviews. I wrote many tests with different companies. I wrote, I mean, almost all the oil company tests, Chevron, Chevron, Total. I think it was only Shell I didn't write. I think I did Mobile as well. I did NNPC tests. Some of them I got past the first stage, did the second stage. I did a number of the consulting companies as well. Some of them I got interviews. Some of them I got to the final stage of interviews. I did the bank tests as well. So basically, I kept on applying, right, for jobs. And I mean, I think one of the things I didn't do, I mean, well, and I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I think the important thing is to really decide in yourself what you want to do, where you want to go, and find all means to make it happen. It might not necessarily go the way you want it to go. You might find another way to make it happen, but the bottom line is to eventually make it happen. So I had some suggestions to me. Then some cousins were suggesting that I should go for my master's in UI. And I said, no, I wasn't interested in that. That wasn't what I wanted to do. So basically what I did was to continue to looking for jobs. And another thing I was doing then was I was reading books. So some of them were motivational books. Some of them were maybe like biographies of successful people. So I kept reading books. And I think one really good book I read then was a book on vision by a man called Miles Monroe. He's dead now. But I think what that helped me to do then was I was able to sort of write down my vision, like what did I want to do with my life. I think that was one of the most important things I think I did during that period. I was able to write down what exactly do I want to do with my life, what kind of career do I want, what kind of life do I want, and I wrote all of them down. And when many years after I showed that book to my wife. So that was another thing I did. So yeah, keep applying for jobs. But I mean, I guess another thing I would just say is so in applying for jobs, apply right. In interviewing, interview right. So I mean, I think Funchal made a really important point about the book someone gave him, which helped him to go and smash the test, in the engineering firms he was going to. So that's if I would go back, I guess that's perhaps some of the things I would do differently. So it's not just about just applying for jobs, right? Sometimes you need to be targeted when you're applying for jobs, and strategically, if you are going for like an engine interview. So get that kind of book that Funchal was talking about, maybe about process engineering, and dig into it, digest it and know all about it, so that when you go for those technical tests, you can smash it. If you are going for a test in a company, find out someone who currently works in that company. Obviously, not the person who is going to interview you, because they'll say no, right? Look for another person, or a friend that knows a friend, or a brother. That just find someone who works in that company who can tell you what kind of questions to expect, the best way to answer those kinds of questions. So those are the kinds of things you can do while you are waiting to get a job.
Right. Thanks a lot. I think that's really very valuable. While you are waiting, don't because one of the don't waste your time or being depressed. I think that's one of the major challenges that people have. If when things like this delay, you sometimes feel unhappy or depressed. Why is everybody getting a job and I'm not? You need to stay motivated and continue to prepare yourself through inspiring yourself, looking into the future, picking up the things, the right learning that will help you even when you want to get that job. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, just on the back of the point you made about preparation. So keep preparing. So eventually, when I got my first job in UBA, when I got that job, because of the kind of mindset I had, when I got the job, the policy manuals and all of that, I started reading them just to go beyond just doing the job, to know why I was doing the job. And I mean, shortly after that, I knew the job more than even some of the people I met there. And eventually, I think in the space of a year and a half after I got there, I got promoted. And amongst the set of people that were on my level, I was the only one that was promoted in my whole office. And I think probably around the region at that time, maybe one of two people that was promoted. And it was just because of the quality of work I was doing, and sort of kind of mindset and preparation that I had before I got that job. And even some of the people who had started with the company before I joined, I was promoted ahead of them. So that preparation that Babala talked about is very, very important.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. We'll move on quickly. I have a question from Samuel Ayomide Adebayo, and his question is: he says everyone speaking has an extra degree from outside Nigeria. So, as a chemical engineer, is it really advisable to stay back to have your master, or at all costs you must go and do your master's abroad? He says, I guess for all our speaker, it really gave them a lot of career opportunity even when they came back. Okay. Who wants to take this? Maybe Laulu, you want to take this?
Well, I think because I didn't have my graduate degree, I may not be fair on the system. But I think one of the advantages, and I think I'm happy that Professor Dr. Agbede is also on the call. One of the advantages we have in a foreign university is that they are interested in the your entire journey. They don't just give you a degree and say bye-bye. By the time you are graduating, they bring companies to talk to you, to say, okay, these are the career opportunities, these are graduate students, and they try to network and find you opportunities. What I noticed that was missing totally in our study in Nigeria is that I don't even think they are doing it in Unilag, whereby maybe they're doing it in Unilag, I'm not aware, whereby